only game show that's 3 dimensions away from Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League being a story-driven mission and not a microtransaction game. I'm your host, 3D Jake, and today we're looking at Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, released in 2024. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a game developed by Rocksteady Games, who made the incredible and legendary, one of the greatest trilogies of all time, the Arkham trilogy: Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Knight. The game, they also had a small hand in developing Batman Arkham Origins, even though it was developed by WB Games Montreal. They basically just did the coding. They did they basically did 5% of the game, worked on the game, and basically they basically said, okay, here's the coding and everything for it, how to do it, and then we're gonna go work on Arkham Knight. This game, turns around, is actually their first game in like 7 years. The last game they worked on was Arkham Knight, and so this game is the last game was released on the PS4. Like, they've only had one game released on a console. Like, they have 2 games come out on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. But then they had one game come out on the PS4 and Xbox One. And then now this game is going to come out on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. I'm just saying, that is really impressive that, these guys are, they're so well renowned. Look, we're going to make one game that's so big that it's just going to be released on this console only, I mean, obviously GTA kind of did the same thing with GTA 5, so I mean, it is what it is. But I will say that I really enjoy, playing this game. I know it's been really divisive because a lot of people have seen spoiler leaks online, and a lot of people hate the live service thing and the microtransactions, and they hate the idea of it being like a looter shooter. I will say, yet I have issues with this game, but I also really like this game. I will say the biggest things I had issues with don't outweigh the experience of the game overall. Like, the game, I would say, even though I have issues with this game, I will say the game on itself is more enjoyable than the issues that outweigh the game. Okay? I will say I can overlook the issues compared to what the game is. Do I kind of wish this game was not a looter shooter game with live service? Yes, I wish the game was not that. I wish the game focused more on story-driven game like the Arkham games are famous for. But I will say, I do think this game is really fun, and I could see myself playing this game in 10 years from now, and I know people say, well, this is not going to be online in 10 years from now. They have an offline mode, so that means this game will be around forever, okay? Even if they decide, look, servers are going offline, and all the content you paid for and purchased and all that will be in the offline game. So that means you will still have, if you want to play, if you want to basically pay for all the, cosmetics, and you want to pay for, all of the stuff the Luther coins and buy all the stuff, then you can literally have all that when the game is dead in the water in 10 years from now. But, so that right there, I just want to throw that out there because people have been getting this misconception out there. And so I just want to throw that out. Also, and it really upsets me that people are doing this, people are saying, oh, Kevin Conroy, this is a disgrace because this is his last role in the game, this is the last role ever, and this is a disgrace to his legacy. He knew what he was doing and signed up, and people have even said that worked on the game. I even saw someone that worked on the game online saying, look, we worked with him. He knew what he was signing up for. He was cool with it. Everything we approved everything through him, and he was okay with it. He wouldn't have signed on if he did not like the direction we were going with this character. Okay, so before people are getting all upset. And also, the game literally is called Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. What were you expecting? Were you going to call it Suicide Squad Beats the Justice League? I mean, literally, it's in the title. Just saying. And there will be spoilers in this review, so I'm just saying be prepared. So I'm going to spoil some things. So if you haven't played the game, or if you have no intentions of playing the game, go back. If you don't want to, you have no intentions to play the game, then stay watch. Okay, but I'm just going to spoil it. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The game is essentially, the story about Amanda Waller. Brainiac basically takes over Metropolis, kind of like with in Injustice 2 or DC Universe Online. Basically takes over Metropolis, and all the DC heroes are corrupted by Brainiac, except for Wonder Woman and Flash. And so basically, Task Force X is enlisted basically as a basically a fallout plan, basically, so that way to this is the last resort in a way. And so basically they're there to defeat and kill the Justice League and defeat Brainiac's goons. And so basically the Justice League are basically there to taunt them and their boss battles and so forth. Okay, for the Flash is in the game for a couple scenes before he's corrupted. like, he's like there at the beginning, to stop like him battle Green Lantern, and then of course he's like injured. Then you basically try to take him to Waller, and then Batman shows up and beats the shit out of him and takes him up to Brainiac, and Brainiac turns him into Evil Flash, which he's actually really fun watching Evil Flash. But yeah, the Waller basically recruits you and he puts bombs in your necks, and basically he's like, okay, you do this, you get 10 years off your prison sentence, blah blah blah. And so basically, they have to go out there and they go around shooting purple aliens because everybody in the Metropolis essentially is either dead or has been turned into those goons by Brainiac. And so Lois Lane is basically their underground reporter reporting, saying, rise up, resistance. And then basically the Suicide Squad are in there just tearing the shit up and everything, destroying the place and everything else. And it's really fun. There's Lex Luthor's in the game, and he ends up getting killed by the Flash at one point in the game, where Flash just rips his heart out and then crushes it. And then of course, you have to go to an alternate universe, because after you defeat Batman, or after you defeat, like, I think Green Lantern or so, there's an alternate universe where there's another Lex Luthor. And basically, this Lex Luthor is like a much skinnier Lex Luthor, and he's basically has long hair and a beard. Reminds me of Lionel Luthor in Smallville. And so basically, this Lex Luthor is more of like a, well-sophisticated man, while the other one was more of an egomaniac. And this one is kind of like a more well-sophisticated. I feel like I could trust this one more than the other one that's dead. And so this one is actually just like, is clever. He's really clever, and I like this one, and he kind of takes the new role of Lex Luthor, because he's like, this one's dead in this universe, so might as well. And he's kind of helping Task Force X by giving them like equipment to defeat this hero, and like, okay, here's some yellow kryptonite to defeat Superman, and of course, okay, Batman, here's to help defeat Batman, and such forth. And so, I will say, the story is really good. I really enjoyed the story. I know some people had some issues with the boss battles. I think the story really works well. I really do like the story. I mean, the story is really well done. I enjoyed the story. I could rewatch the story in cutscenes. It's really good. I thought it was a good story. I could easily see this being a movie. That's how good the story was. Now, as for the gameplay, I hate and I like the gameplay. The gameplay I have is where I had the issues with. I like the game, how it being an open world game, and I like the traversal in the game. I do kind of wish, though, like, for instance, the jetpack, I kind of wish that, like, they would just let you fly instantly, because the only way to traverse through the game is really by your gear that you have on. For instance, your Deadshot, you're flying around, basically. That's the only way. And if your jetpacks, basically, you have basically Boba Fett's jetpack in Star Wars Battlefront, where it's like, you fly for 10 seconds, gives out. Fly for 10 seconds, gives out. And that's the only thing. There is like an Afterbird thing where it hovers a little bit, but I still wish they would just like make it where maybe in an update or patch or whatever, they'll just make where you can just have unlimited like thing, or add a perk where you can have unlimited jet fuel. Something like that. As for Captain Boomerang, he throws a boomerang and he's like the Flash, he'll teleport to it. And then of course Harley Quinn, and she has a grapple gun that she traps onto a little bat wing, glider that she just jumps around buildings with, and then King Shark just jumps like the Hulk. And so basically that's how they traverse through this. And so it's really fun, like, to traverse through Metropolis. And there's like buildings you can go into, like there's like there's Wayne's Bank, the Bat Cave. There is the Batman Museum, which recaps Arkham, from Arkham Asylum all the way to Arkham Knight, and like these cardboard cutouts of Jack Ryder from the Arkham games, recapping all what happened. You can go in there anytime you want and listen to it. And if you go with a different character like Harley or something, you can see different perspectives. And I even like, there's a scene where I was walking around as Deadshot in the museum, and Harley Quinn was looking at it, and she just was staring at the picture of Batman holding the dead Joker, and I'm like, that was so cool. I wish I would have screenshot that, because even an NPC, I was just sitting there staring at that, and I'm like, that's so cool. There's even some cool missions in the game. Like, there's a mission where Batman essentially is hunting you in the Batman Museum, like after he's killed all these guards, and you're kind of getting like the Arkham perspective where he's hunting you, you're not hunting him. And so he knocks everyone out, and then Harley Quinn dead last, and that's when the Flash shows up. And I thought that was pretty cool. And also there's a cool Scarecrow type mission with Batman, where Batman uses Scarecrow fear toxin to scare you and everything, and that's pretty cool. And also there's like, there's a cool like Green Lantern boss battle, because Green Lantern's being an asshole to Deadshot the whole time. And there's some cool stuff in the game, some cool story missions. I do feel like, though, that the biggest thing was the gameplay that was repetitive to me, is where seems like every single thing you're doing is, okay, look, I need you to get this gear. So go over here and kill bunch of these purple aliens behind a shield, and then collect all this stuff. Okay, now go over here and kill all these purple aliens behind this shield and destroy this tower. Okay, now over here, I need you to destroy this world engine, so kill all these purple aliens behind the shield, and then until the timer runs out, and then you'll take it out. And I'm like, come on, this is getting fucking repetitive, okay? That's my thing about it. It's kept being repetitive when you're just going around killing purple aliens. And guess what? After you do the boss battles and everything, you have to literally get some money to defeat Brainiac. You don't just get the final mission. You have to literally earn currency within the game. You know, that's so many points build up, and then you can buy the points to defeat Brainiac in the Elseworld, because you have to go to another universe to defeat it. And that's what kind of irks me. I'm like, so I have to save up, I have to go destroy a bunch of world engines so I can build up the currency to defeat Brainiac within the game. And I'm like, that's such bullshit. Okay, that really pissed me off. I'm like, so I have to go do a bunch of side missions basically to earn the currency to basically go defeat Brainiac in the menu. I was like, that's stupid. And I had to go do that, and that really pissed me off. And Brainiac, essentially, his big boss battle is he basically turns into the Flash, Brainiac Flash, and then you have to basically just shoot at him. And then basically, he literally, you have to get in the freaking vehicle that's like a 30-second vehicle that doesn't overheat, and he just goes and blows him up until he's eventually dead. And that's how you complete the freaking game. And I'm like, really? You know, like Superman, like I will say the Flash, Batman, and Green Lantern are really good boss battles. I feel like Superman and Brainiacs were just bullshit. Wonder Woman doesn't have one because she doesn't get infected. Superman kills her essentially in the game. And so basically Superman was just basically, you don't really see Superman. You see him once in the game when he's fighting Wonder Woman, and at the end after you kill Batman, he shows up, and then basically he's sitting there giving monologues while you're sitting there shooting. I'm going boom, 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 and then eventually, you know, you just got to keep shooting at him until eventually you kill him. And Brainiac's the same way. And essentially that kind of irks me a little bit. And so I was like, come on. And also the vehicles in this game. Essentially, there's Gizmo's like a little guy who's basically drops these vehicles that you have to just basically use for combat. You can't use them to traverse around the world. And and they get overheat within 30 seconds. So basically, you only have 30 seconds in them, then they blow up, which is stupid. I'm like, I thought you'd have been cool to have a Batmobile or some shit, but it is what it is. And also, like, there also is, like, Superman, I feel like, you know, there is a hint that this might not be the real Justice League. Because essentially, like, Green Lantern dies, and then the shark turns up, which I thought was a cool moment, where the shark turns into Green Lantern, and uses the shark to destroy the force field, but then it re-heals. There's hints that, because that doesn't work in the comics, like, Green Lantern uses his ring, you have to be chosen, you can't just stick on the ring. And also, the fact is Flash got his fingers cut off, and then he has them back again, and on top of that, Superman gets stabbed in the heart with kryptonite and doesn't die, instead he just, like, brushes it off. There's hints in the game that these are not really the Justice League, that these are basically either clones or minions or something like that. Because even at the end when Brainiac becomes Flash, there's essentially like, okay, Brainiac just absorbed their cause, cloned them or something, and then they're really up there. But yeah, just there's stuff like that, you know. So, and I do say I am looking, and then also I had an issue with Infinite Crisis, which is basically like an Elseworlds mission where you get Bane gear if you complete it, where you're doing the exact same thing repetitively. We're jumping across shields, going pew 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 pew. And then, of course, you're like, all right, you can complete it. And then, of course, you get a Bane, like, you know, gun. And I'm like, I just did the exact same thing. And, like, some of the maps, they're like, oh, you're going different maps. Some of the freaking maps look exactly the same. Like, this looks just exactly like the Metropolis and Brainiac's world. I'm like, they're just colored differently. I'm like, seriously, be creative. I'm just hoping that, like, the first, you know, DLC missions that are coming out with the Joker, I'm hoping that map looks different. It doesn't look the exact same, just a different color coding. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. You got a hub base also in the game. That's really cool that you could go into, you know, and everything and customize Poison Ivy. You got Penguin gear. You know, you got Penguins kind of there and everything. So it's really like you got all these kind of skill-based bosses. And it's really cool. I like that you can customize your look and everything. It does have somewhat Marvel Avenger vibes, but I would say this is a much better experience. I just wish it wasn't so repetitive. And so that was the only thing I did recommend this game. If you haven't played it, I would say wait until they come out with the first expansion to see if you like. I would say that's what I would say. Wait till the first expansion before you invest in it. Also, there is a microtransaction store where if you want to purchase actual with Luthor coins, which are real currency in the game, not currency in the game, you have to spend real money to buy Luthor coins. Where so, for instance, if you want to buy, there's like right now there's like a couple of squad outfits that are like prison gear, but like with skulls and stuff painted on them and stuff. Or if you wanted to buy the pre-order skins that you didn't get a chance to buy. Well, you can buy those in the store, and, you know, if you want to spend real money on them, I didn't. Instead, I just pre-ordered it. But also, I had an issue with my pre-order because when I bought it, I had to email Walmart, or not Walmart, but I had to email PlayStation and tell them, like, look, my pre-order's not working, skins are not working, and then they basically fixed it for me. So there's a bug there, so some people were experiencing it besides me. So I'm just saying, look out for that. But yeah, I did it. Besides the bugs, there was a couple of bugs, and besides that in the game, and this, and the microtransactions, and like the live service, those are the biggest things I hated about the game, and some of the gameplay being repetitive. But other than that, I really had a fun time with this game. I mean, it's a really fun game. I hope once the patch comes out, they fix all the bugs. This game is much more enjoyable. I can't wait for the first patch to see what they're going to do and how they're going to fix it. But other than that, I really had a great time with this game. I highly had recommended. If I had to give this game a grade, a score, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. Thank you so much.
Ah, come on!